call the meeting to order.
All right.
Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
Okay. Do you want to call roll call while you're at it?
Yeah, so we'll do, looks like everyone is here except for Gail.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So did everyone get a chance or anyone get a chance to look over last meeting's minutes? And if so, are there any
Modifications?
modifications? Cheryl, I saw your email.
Did you change it?
I'm going to submit all the changes on here, but I don't know if anyone else saw it, but change pole barns to pole barn.
Yeah.
Wait, did you want it to be?
No.
You didn't. You
You
want
did
pole
that.
or you want pole?
I want pole barn.
Pole.
Isn't
Like
that what it?
flagpole barn.
Isn't that what it is?
It's like
what
flagpole.
It is.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
a pole
He's
barn.
pulling your leg.
I've never built one before,
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Any other amendments on here?
I didn't notice any, did you?
I wasn't here, so
Yeah.
Okay.
I was driving to save Susie.
That's right.
So is there should we make a motion to approve the minutes as modified?
Yes.
Okay.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Julie, do we need to introduce ourselves for that, or does it matter?
I think as long as roll call is taken,
Yeah.
I think we're fine.
Okay.
Unless we
Well,
want
we
to.
didn't mention names when the
Yeah.
roll was taken.
Oh yes, we might want to mention.
Okay, go ahead. Linda, you want to start us off?
Linda Sandberg,
Nick Conan.
Lance Trantham.
Mike Kringle.
Julie Peterson.
Cheryl Greiner.
All right, perfect. Well, next on the agenda is CPRD form to reapply for Pickleball Committee. Julie, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, so I asked Kat if the form was ready for the Pickleball Advisory Committee, and she said that as of now, it's not, and that the Pickleball Committee is not going to be required right now to reapply. Right now they're working on the forms or the paperwork for the budget committee for CPRD. And so I think the board was going to have a form created, but it's not ready yet.
Okay.
So
So I just wanted to let you know we're good to go.
Okay.
Oh, so
Great.
if I heard you right, we may not be required to sign a form once it's.
Well, I think there is going to be one, but
Okay.
it's not ready yet.
Sure,
So,
yeah.
because those rules are so new.
Yeah.
So there isn't anything on the website.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we will cross that bridge when we get there. It sounds like. So, in regards to continuing the conversation on the Jake with proposal, did anyone not? And totally fine if not, but just so we're all on the same page, watch the CPRD board meeting. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I did.
Linda, did you get a chance?
thank
Yeah.
you for
Yeah.
giving us time.
Yeah.
It made it
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, no problem.
Because
Yeah, yeah, you didn't watch.
that was so
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, of course. You missed out on some good stuff if you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's exciting. I watched the whole thing.
Well, I
Yeah.
heard
Yeah.
from Corey,
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
She did a
what
great
the
job.
library
Yeah.
did.
She did a great
So,
Yeah.
She's neat. I like
Yeah.
her a lot. That is a great. I don't know if you guys have ever been up there to see all that memorabilia up there, but it's impressive.
Cool.
It's so impressive, and so I would hate for something to happen to that. That's a really neat idea.
Now, one of the things that I did with the meeting was because it was on YouTube, right? I went to the bell and hit the icon,
Yeah.
and so then I will be notified
Yeah.
when new meetings are posted.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
I'll have to go back
I
and
was
do
like,
that.
oh yeah.
I did that too. I haven't tested it yet though.
Yeah.
We'll find out this month.
Yeah.
I can show you how if you can pull the meeting up.
Well, first off, Mike, I thought you did an awesome job. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing that. I thought it was great, and the board seemed to respond positively, which was awesome. But anyone have any thoughts or follow-ups on that? Any just continued discussion of that proposal?
I think it's very positive.
Well, and there were discussions at the end because Gail spoke on our behalf. One of the things I heard was that there will be 6 pickleball courts at Jaquith and the 2 tennis courts not lined with pickleball courts.
Right, I think
Yes.
that is a change. I mean, I shouldn't say a change, but I think that is something that they're thinking about. Instead of putting 12,
Right.
I think that
But
you're
we'll
right.
have a total of 12 or more.
Yeah, I thought Casey said 14.
He did say 14, which I didn't know how his math worked for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I
so
heard that.
There's some dead space, I mean, there's some open space with the courts that are there.
I
You know,
guess,
there's some spaces
Yeah,
that
and maybe once
aren't
those
utilized.
others are gone, it would be able to
Now, the
have.
question I have is, if and when we have it, when we have our tournaments out there, will we be able to tape those other courts that aren't lined so that they can be utilized for the tournament if need be?
Well, if we
I would
have,
imagine so.
yeah, only if it's like
If it's-
huge.
Like if
Because
they're
if we
renting
have
it.
the other,
well,
The other
there'll be a
facility.
gap though before we get the other facility done. This could take a couple years.
well, Mike, no, they're taking out, and that was another thing. They're not gonna resurface the tennis courts, they're going to tear them up. And they're putting them both in at the same time because it's cost effective.
When they resurface,
That's
they
what
have
Dawn
a
said.
tendency to crack. Like, we
Yeah.
resurfaced recently, and those cracks are now back, and
Right.
they're immense. And so we're gonna take it all. We're gonna not resurface. We're gonna what do you call it?
Reconstruct, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Actually,
They're
they're
gonna-
going to
they're
go
gonna
down and
do some
and
geotech
tech
work.
stuff.
Yep.
Because Jim's always complained, and I pointed this out to you guys. There's so much water there. They've
Yeah.
got to mitigate that because of that creek.
Yeah.
Yep.
My question is, if they do, CPRD is going to have 2 tennis courts. What would be really nice is if there's a pony fence between the tennis courts and the pickleball
It's
courts.
a good idea.
Good idea.
And that way too, it's like, no, don't really go set up a net over there. It's not gonna turn out well for you.
And there should be a gate there, a little swing gate just to get through.
And I think that would go a long way with the tennis community, because sometimes I feel like the tennis community is, I know it's small, but sometimes I've heard that, they feel like they're being shoved out.
Yeah. Well, particularly in the spring when the high school is using the Jaquith courts in the afternoon after school.
Right.
Yeah, that becomes difficult. So.
Well, they always have full access to those courts after school, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the only concerns I had when they were talking about it, and it seemed like nothing was solidified yet, obviously, but it sounded like Casey mentioned it would just be a covered court with no walls.
Yeah, I don't think there are sides. I
Yeah.
had said
Yeah.
I thought there were sides on it, but I don't
Yeah.
think there are.
Yeah,
sides.
I think that would be worth pursuing in that even if it was just 3 sides and leaving the north side open, because I know it's a small sample size, but the family, the Roussaws here in town, have a court that's just covered, and well now 3 sides are closed, but the rain really gets in, and you can't on like a rain, if you get 2 days of rain in a row with that humidity, you can't play on it.
What material is that?
Just
Or
sheet
what-
metal.
Oh, just
so I
sheet
don't think it would add too much to the budget.
Yeah. And does it come all the way down, or is it like 3/4?
It's a core. It's just like half of it. But Pete, I was talking to him. He said that even then, he would go all the way up if he were to do it again. Yeah. Yeah, but that would be a good. I'm sure that they'd be okay to have like Casey or somebody come. We could all go look at it together and see, because it definitely, on rainy days, it's too wet to play.
Yeah.
What is used a lot of is that wind block too, and that's helped.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, on a windy, stormy day, it's just pushing in.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, like, if it's going to be a sheet metal roof, the condensation will drip down too. It's just another
Well,
consideration.
they'll always put the standard practice on full
Yeah.
buildings now is
Yeah.
they put a
The wood.
barrier in.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it possible we could find out what the estimated cost was for them for 3 sides? And then we could double it or something to get a rough estimate for when we meet.
Well, one
think
side's
that
the
would-
building itself.
Yeah,
Then, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
no, well.
It'd be easy to figure out. I mean, it's gonna be, it's basically just, all right, what would 180 plus 120 is 300 feet of sheet metal.
And you know, if it's not in the budget, it would be an amazing
Add-on.
fundraiser for the pickleball committee to do, or to apply for grants for that portion of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Because there's some private foundations in town that do brick and mortar.
And it would be a reasonable amount perhaps, and it'd be a little easier to get
And
funding.
they always look at who's in the game, you know, who's,
Oh, yeah.
so I think there's some possibilities for some add-ons through grants.
But it wouldn't hurt to ask for it, and if they
Exactly,
kick
ask
it-
not, have not, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Because I would hate to invest all this money in a covered court and then 2/3 of the winter you can't even be out there because it's
Yeah.
a little too wet.
That would be a shame.
Well, the other thing to look at for Pete Mamie's is how far away, like, is it, the court's here, there's a little bit of space. If we did it farther out, would that help?
Yeah.
See, I think another point, when I was going through this book on construction of pickleball courts and stuff, is that, one of the things you pick is whether it's asphalt or concrete type surface. And the rain getting in is after you put the coatings on, is less likely, even though it's more expensive to put cement in, it's going to impact the asphalt more, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So,
Don't
But
Pete
anyway,
Mamie
that's-
have concrete?
Theirs is concrete.
Theirs is
yeah.
concrete.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it is, from what I hear, seeping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the weather's gonna be coming from this direction. Most of our storms come from this
Oh,
direction,
is it?
so
Yeah.
you'd want this side here
Cover.
and this
Yeah.
side here for sure. If possible, those two sides
Yeah.
blocked with walls. That's gonna, and the tree line here will help a little bit, but there's a big opening here and a big opening here.
Yeah.
But most of our storms come in from that direction.
Well, they come in from the south and from the north.
Southwest.
Well, I mean south in the summer, north in the winter months. But southwest, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that end, are you saying the east side would be and the north side would be okay?
I mean, if we
Plans.
had if we had the ability to do two and that was it, those are the two we'd want to do.
Right.
You want to do this side? and-
This side and this side. Because the storms
So-
are going to come from, when we're playing pickleball, when I'm always looking southwest, that's the area that the storms are coming from in the winter.
So what I'm wondering is, because, see this blue triangle, if we extended the yellow wall on is this the
West side.
West side.
West side.
If we went further and had this part enclosed, so that we have an entrance coming into this 6 courts, and that would be the changing area, and where you can park your paddles, etc. And it would be a natural extension just to continue that wall and move it over,
Well, if you did that, you could also have that as a practice space too.
if there's enough room. Yeah, sure. So I don't know. You see where we're
right here.
looking? Yeah, Cheryl is right there. That way
Lance, what
we
are we
come in
looking at,
this
the
way.
north side?
We got a
So he was
protective
talking
wall
about
on this
extending-
side. Yeah, we can change our shoes,
If we put a wall here,
etc.
might as well extend it all the way there. The only problem with that, Mike, is that, well, I guess if they're on board with, pouring some more concrete for some picnic tables, the changing stuff, it won't be too much of
Extending
an
the
effort to
roof line over
Yeah.
that.
Well, it might. What I was wondering is, I don't know. Just hadn't thought this part through. Whether they'd have the beams be like going this way for the 6 courts, and then kind of like this way for the covered area, connected.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just isn't going to be the same exactly.
Yeah.
Julie, won't they use a designer to help them? I mean,
Yeah.
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 this will be
Mhm.
outsourced on
Yeah.
the planning.
Oh, yes. And we'll have to get 3 bids for it.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what the designer comes up with.
Yeah.
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 We can just give them our wish list, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
Because don't you think where the horseshoe pits are? I mean, wouldn't you prefer, or wouldn't you guys like to have more courts there versus parking, or more parking?
Well, I think according to Casey at the board meeting, that will have to be tabled till he finds out
Yeah.
how much parking he's gonna need to
Yeah.
provide.
It's all
Yeah.
about the city.
It's all about the city, so.
Yeah, I do recall in the meeting towards the end that our board rep had brought up why do we need horseshoe pits
I know.
in the first place? Gail brought that up. But, you
But
know.
even Don said that he could, if we had a couple there, that would be good. I was surprised when he said that.
Yeah, that's good.
Like,
That was,
he's not going to make us keep all 8 of them or whatever.
well, it could move to the other, see, what I envisioned was have more, if we went this whole area in blue, if we could do that, as phase 2 or whatever, and have more courts going this way, and you could have your,
Between the red and the
Horseshoe.
blue.
like this, yeah.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I've never seen anyone use the horseshoe pits ever, and I go down, I'm out at Euclid almost every day, and I've never, ever, and I think Dawn said that, most of the people that used to throw horseshoes, they are no longer living.
Moved
Yeah.
along.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Kevin was in tennis, there were a couple old guys that on occasion we'd see during practice time playing. But that was 8 years ago. I think the next step is to really see what the district comes up with.
Yeah.
I think the thing most important for me is that we have an area that we can set up lawn chairs, we can have a picnic table, and there's just space outside the court area for,
And do you guys like the trees?
Wait, you're talking about under
Yeah.
cover?
whatever
Ideally,
the budget
yeah.
will allow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if we have concrete, we can bring
I don't mind.
pop-up tents if it's hot or windy. And Lance, you're right, we don't need the east side, because if the east wind is blowing in the wintertime, we're not gonna be playing. It will be
It's gonna
too
be
cold.
cold.
Sometimes we get a storm come in in the summer from an odd direction, but
That's
I mean,
not-
it's just,
It's a summer
and at that time
storm.
of the year, when it stops raining, it dries,
dry,
because it's
yeah.
so
Right.
warm.
How, I'm interested to know, how many people do you think on the weekends use the pickleball courts? Or is it mostly a weekday activity?
I think weekdays are maybe the more serious-ish players who play consistently, but like Lance was saying, yeah, this weekend of those 10 courts, I mean, I was out there just with my in-laws, hitting it around, but it was a lot of beginners. There were some families out there having a good time.
Yeah.
And none of them are from what I could tell, none of them are pickleball club member. They're not part
Yeah.
of the club. These are just random
Yeah.
people who have picked up pickleball, and it's just
there
going to
was
continue to grow.
There was also a group of 9 of us in the morning,
Okay.
Um,
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
And on
think
Sundays,
there
I've
was
been
a-
down there a lot with beginners on Sundays, and there's either, maybe 1, 2, 3 nets, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could, maybe that'd be a good job for the Newburgh Pickleball Club is maybe this spring when the weather gets better and starts, we can keep an informal tally of, if we go out there and, hey, at 3 p.m. on this Saturday, there were 12
Excellent.
other people out there, Friday night, there was this
What I
and
think
that,
we
but-
need to, and I'll talk with Susie, but I think we need to get some signage out there, become a Newburgh Pickleball member, and then I think I can take that page that we created last year, how to become a member, and
Yep.
do a QR code on that, so that it can be, then all they've got to do is go to their phone, QR code it, and that'll give them the step-by-step. I will work on trying to get that done.
Julie, do we need to have that approved through the district?
If it's permanent signage, then yes. If not, then I think you're okay.
Hooks and laminated.
Carabiner clip
Yeah, I think it's fine.
and that,
Well, I think out of courtesy to,
Yeah, I would run it by Kat, but
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be fine with that.
we'll just give it to you and you can,
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Julie, does that kind of answer your question? I just don't have hard numbers, obviously.
Yeah.
But, it's hit and miss. The advantage of, like, one thing that I will say about having the 12 courts at Jakewith is, as of now, because surrounding cities don't have so many courts, people do come from, Beaverton and
Yeah.
Wilsonville, because they do know they can, at least for now, almost always find an open court in
Yeah.
Newburgh, which is nice.
One of our good friends who's a 4-5 player, her husband's a 3-5 player. He comes from Beaverton because the lines there are 15,
Yeah.
20 people deep, and he can come here.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing here?
He's a great
like,
guy, too.
I'm coming here because the lines are too long everywhere else, and I enjoy coming here and playing.
Yeah.
Great.
So he's coming to Beaverton, and he's one of the club members now, just because he comes here and plays.
Stop talking to other people about our little place.
Yeah.
We're supposed to, no longer a secret, huh?
How are the McMinnville courts? Are they busy all the time? Just curious.
Yes, they're busy. They only have 6, but Mondays, every night of the week they have something going on. Mondays like ladies' nights, Tuesdays and Thursdays are advanced nights, Wednesdays open play, and they're pretty much always all full, all 6 of them. Yeah, and then they have lines painted over their tennis courts, and some occasionally they'll go put temporary nuts up there to make better use of it, but. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the Jakewith proposal?
I'm sure we'll have some later.
Mhm.
But, for now, I don't have any for now.
I'm excited about how positive
Yeah.
the feedback was from the board.
Yeah.
They're ready to roll.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. So on here, we addressed the total number of courts. Cheryl, it sounded like you wanted to clarify that, and yeah, I think we all agreed. We heard Casey say that 14 number. Be something as things move forward to get set in stone. I do. It would be nice to have all the tennis courts painted, but as a tennis player as well, I understand it.
Right.
And but yeah, I think as it moves forward, it's worth a discussion.
Question: is there any so phase 2, maybe someday? Is there any possibility with phase 2 that it could be over the existing courts that we have now, where they're at?
The cover?
Yeah. Because my point being, they're going to redo that whole area. When it's being redone, is there anything that we need to do to pre-think that
Infrastructure wise.
that
Yeah.
what is there, if we are going to make this a phase 2, that we could, if it does become that big where we're having that many people, is there
That's a
something we need to
And
do?
it also gives the tennis people a covered area to play.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be an interesting ask
Yeah.
to them as well, right? So,
So
Yeah.
question for you,
Yeah.
Lance, as a pickleball player though, in the summer when it's nice and sunny, wouldn't you want somewhere outdoor to play? What's the trade-off there?
If the trade-off is, it would be no different than if we had the covered courts with 24 courts like we had. You're still going to be playing there at times.
Well, actually, that was one of my arguments against it. Is in the summer that people wouldn't use it because, I don't know, I love soaking up the sun.
I'm with
I
you.
enjoy the
I'm
sun,
with you
but
on that.
it's hard to see the ball. It's a lot warmer,
Yeah.
full sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the idea of that separate area for phase 2, but what you were talking
I'm just,
about.
I mean,
But no, but even for phase 1, I was reading in here about, they call it post-tensioned asphalt, because it's like cables and stuff, and it resists the cracking, if you end up going with asphalt or something. I mean, there's a lot of
that's a lot.
things in here that maybe have never been utilized when they obviously put in the tennis courts.
yeah.
I'm just impressed that you went out and purchased that.
I borrowed it from Hunter, but he provided a copy. I was talking to Julie before, and he's already provided a copy to Brian Stewart, who would be the gentleman that you mentioned we should be eventually meeting with.
Yes.
And
Brian is in charge of our basics. He's called, well, his title is Basic Service Supervisor, and he will be the one that will actually be in charge of building the courts. So he's in charge of facilities and maintenance and parks and all of that. So he will be the one under, you know, Casey's direction that will actually be the one out there physically, you know, just depending on, you know, if our staff is involved in some of the work.
Will Brian be involved from the design level all the way through?
You know, I don't know. That's a really good question. Casey obviously works on projects, so, but because it is more of a, you know, it's facilities and maintenance and all of that, it will eventually, like, they will be responsible for cleaning it.
He'll want some input.
Yeah, yeah.
So Julie, I was thinking, one, you talk, like you mentioned to me before the meeting started, about the budget process, and two, maybe talk about having maybe a preliminary meeting with Brian Stewart. I mean, I met him when I was speaking one night, but
Yeah.
it might be good to break the ice with him.
Yeah, he's great, and he's all, you know, all for helping us. His staff actually painted the lines out at Jakewood, and with Hunter's help and anybody else who was out there. But his team was in charge of that, and he also they're working on Jakewood right now. They just poured. I don't know if you noticed the new asphalt out there.
Oh,
he got
yeah.
that
So
done.
nice.
Yeah,
It looks so nice.
his group got that done, and then, you know, they clean the bathrooms out there, and they do. We have a lot of rentals out there, and so they take care of the shelters, and obviously the ballpark on the other side. So, and then Mike and I were talking about just the budget process. So how that works for us is that staff right now is working on budgeting, and each of the departments will turn in their budgets to Dawn on March 1st, and then Dawn works on them for a couple of weeks and sends those and prepares them for the budget committee, and then the budget committee will meet, and I'd have to look, I can't remember the date. I want to say it's sometime in June, and looks at the budget, and then asks questions to staff and to the administration, and then that's adopted by the budget committee, goes to the board, and then we have a fiscal budget, so it goes from July to July. That's how that works. So it will be, I mean, it's, you know, Casey or Brian in their budget, or it'll be in Brian's budget, but that will be into Dawn, you know, March 1st. So.
Would you mind asking Casey when he thinks our initial meetings? I'm gonna envision at least two of us would be sitting in to work with him.
Yeah.
And just so we could discuss some of these things, like, you know, are they thinking of asphalt versus concrete, and are they gonna put these tension posts in if they're gonna use
Yeah.
asphalt? So we act like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
To that point, can we capture all of the comments? I wasn't writing it, of our wish list, and prepare a document, Nick or
Yeah.
Mike, so we can capture our wish list, and so they have that sooner than later.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
And prioritize it.
yeah, I know
Like the
it-
wall, practice wall.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one
Practice
to add.
wall,
That'd be a good one to add.
Yeah.
the pony wall between the tennis and the pickleball.
Yeah,
The
I'll
covered area for the adjacent to the six courts, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care who does what, I'll be glad to add to it.
Yeah. What I'll do is when I go and do the minutes for this meeting, I'll in the comments put it clearly lined out all the wish lists we talked about, and when you guys review the minutes, if there's anything I forgot, just let me know. But what I've been doing is just going back, watching this video, and doing the minutes based
That's
on that.
brilliant.
So, yeah.
Makes it easy.
Yeah, that's why I don't have any great notes here. Yeah.
So maybe we'll ask, on the wish list, we'll ask for free soccer paddles for the committee. I'm just giving you a bad time.
Richard, how are you doing? Good.
Happy Tuesday.
I think I introduced Richard Cornwell
Yeah.
earlier. He's
Oh,
our
it is
IT
Monday.
guy.
Yeah, I meant you.
Yeah. I guess this is our open comment period. So any other comments either related to the Jakewood stuff or just general comments?
I have a question. Do you have any tournaments scheduled this year? Do you know?
Yes.
Do you? Okay.
Is
Not through
Pig.
yeah, not through Pig. Okay. Do you guys have your
It's-
own or
No.
Okay, it's
No.
just through Pig. Okay.
I-
I think those are already scheduled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Compton is in charge of that. He's our recreation department coordinator, and so
I believe it's
He's-
May.
yeah, he's been talking with Pig about that. So I think those are already scheduled. I just didn't know if you guys had one. Didn't you have one?
No, but Lori
Lori
Roush
does a
Roush
young
with
life.
Young
Yeah,
Life
that's right. That's what it was.
has had one in last couple of years.
Yeah.
She's subbing full time, but from what I've heard, she might not do it. But then somebody told me she is for sure doing it. So if you need me to reach out to her to find out, I can get that information. for
I'll
you.
have Matt reach out to her.
Okay.
Is she doing the inside courts? She had the inside courts
Yeah.
last year?
I played when we had our Snowmageddon. I played like 12 hours that week.
Oh, really? That's
School's
neat.
out, and
That's great. She just gives you a code and then you can-
she actually
Yeah.
set it up in $10, 2 hours.
Nice.
But then you can also like rent them, and yeah, she gives you the code, and you can go
Yeah.
in there.
Oh, neat. That's great.
And it's heated. I mean, it's for me, it's too hot, but there's some courts out in Yamhill
Uh-huh.
that Pete and Amy and I and Susie went and played at during the humidity time. And we played indoors, and it didn't last very long. The humidity was so high.
Oh, boy.
And it was fully enclosed,
Is that court
but you could see
51?
driplets on my paddle.
Oh,
And,
no.
you know, I don't move as fast as Pete.
When was this?
Last weekend,
Oh.
when we had the 61 degree
yeah,
weather and
okay.
98% humidity.
Oh, is that what it was?
It's enclosed, but it wasn't heated.
And no fans.
And no fans. Well, there was a fan, but it just, the court was slippery. So,
Yeah.
but like that doesn't run into that problem there.
Yeah.
So ventilation might be a topic for
Mm-hmm.
that.
Not if it's three-sided
I mean, there won't be
or
needed.
two-sided.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's like hopefully they'll get bids from designers who maybe have experience with this
Yeah.
stuff.
I will,
I mean, is it, it's just a brainstorm. What about a few skylights?
the leak. That's,
would
so
be- it
Pete and
would be
Amy
a
have
leak.
skylights at their place.
Oh,
And
they
he's had
do?
to go up on the roof a couple of times
Okay, let's
and
forget that idea.
fix some
Yeah.
leaks. So
Oh.
it's just another
Yeah.
way of
Having a
And then
problem.
when we played yesterday, somebody lobbed me the ball. I look up and I'm looking right through the skylight and in the ball. I can't see it.
Oh.
So
Does Brian Bellers, does he have?
no, his is
His
No,
aren't, his aren't
they're not
covered, are they?
covered.
So there's a whole chapter on lighting, and it's in, so I'll add a little bit about what we're looking for.
That will be really important.
Well, actually, I think Julie mentioned the last time that they are planning on doing. I think they're called the mirrored lights, where you see them in tennis centers. So when you do look up, you're not looking into the
Yeah.
light. I think that you said that
Yeah,
last.
Casey
time.
said they're gonna go with those
Yeah.
lights. And, yeah. I
So a
remember.
friend of mine, Dean, there's some new courts, 12 new courts going in Beaverton, indoors.
Yeah,
Right?
nine.
I don't remember
nine.
the 9. Okay.
Yeah,
Are they fully enclosed?
yeah.
Fully
It's in
enclosed.
like a old indoor soccer facility.
old
Yeah,
soccer
it's over off
facility.
of, okay, I know where that's at.
So
Cornell-ish,
Dean-
yeah.
Beaverton.
A friend of mine was applying for a job there. Was be a
Oh.
helper. He went in and he said it's the best lighting he's ever seen
Really?
at a pickleball or tennis
Where is that
facility.
facility? Is that the one on Beaverton Hills on Highway?
It's kind of off of like Bethany Boulevard
Oh,
over.
no,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm saying
So
there's
Pretty
note,
close to the
note
bubble.
to self that they've got like you said this, and the guy's like, yeah, we put some really thought into the lighting in that.
Well, we might have to steal their thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder
least
if we
take a
can
look
get,
at
can we
them.
get access to,
Possibly.
with a person that,
Susie's maybe doing some physical therapy out there. She's in
oh,
negotiations with them or talk with them about maybe doing some stuff
Right.
out there.
yeah.
The other thing I was going to say is that talking to Pete yesterday with all that humidity, so it's an A-frame, and he has a tarp that goes up on one side that covers it. So it's a wall up to 6 feet, and then just a tarp. And so he's brought down the tarp the other day, and he actually thought that having a little bit more airflow through it was helping with the humidity. with the court. Could literally, 2 months ago, we were supposed to go play, had time to set up. Dean was coming over from Hillsborough, and that you could, touch the court and come up with blue.
Oh, boy.
And we're like, we shouldn't play, and then somebody else came out, and next thing you know, we're dinking. Next thing you know, Pete goes, so what's going on with your feet? And my feet had pilled the paint up because the humidity was so high.
Oh, my.
Although I think that maybe has something to do with like the paint they use, because think a normal tennis court doesn't do that. I think the bigger risk is safety. You know, it gets really slick.
My point being just that sometimes airflow can help with.
Yeah.
So
I was
So
thinking
Nick, I'm
it
saying
rained.
this for this, put ventilation on the wish list. You don't have to write it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remember.
So do
And
we,
humidity.
since we're on the open going, do we need to speak at the next board meeting? I hadn't thought this through, I'm just thinking, what do we talk about?
Right. I mean, we can put it on the agenda, and you don't necessarily have to speak, but I just think there should be discussion amongst the board about everything all the information that's been provided to them. Maybe we could put it on there. You could be there maybe to answer questions. I could definitely answer the questions too, but.
And maybe that wish list.
But even if we
But I
could
mean,
get that to
we
them
have to present
before
everything.
the next meeting, if we could get it to all of them.
I don't know what to
Absolutely, and we
review.
could say, it's not prioritized, but these are some things we
Yeah,
discussed.
considerations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if we got that list together, would it be wise before we brought it to the board that we met with Casey or?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that, Brian, we don't want to, me, I don't think we want to go present something to the board and then
Yeah,
have some resistance because I wasn't aware of something.
yeah.
So what timing do you think we could get that list ready? Because then maybe if you'd organize
Sure.
initial meeting, if we could,
Yep.
invite Casey, of course.
Yeah. Well, Casey and Brian, we should maybe all meet. Casey and Brian and myself and whoever from the committee wants to meet. I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Because you
I-
want to meet, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to meet? If we could, I guess it depends on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't meet every day.
I leave next Thursday for Phoenix for a week.
Tough job, buddy.
Yeah.
Susie's there for 3 weeks.
Oh, retirement's tough.
She's actually having to go back to work. We can tell you more about that later.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just retirement stuff, issues.
But Mike, to answer your question, I think I could have that list. I mean, I'll do the minutes probably on Wednesday, and so I can do. It'll be really easy to put that list together.
So, because I'd have to, I'm leaving town on the 14th for 8 days. We're going to Palm Springs. I'm going to play pickleball.
I'll be in Palm Springs in spring break.
I'm in Arizona the last week of February, hoping to play pickleball, but
Where? Phoenix?
Sun City. I'm trying to figure out how I can play there. Send out emails. So if either of you have friends in Sun City that play pickleball, I would love to talk to somebody.
Okay.
Nick, one other thing
Yep.
that I don't know we didn't talk about it today, but I would recommend that we have gates between court 1 and 2, like a gate to walk in, so you're not having to walk around.
Yeah.
And then between 3 and 4,
Yeah.
and 5 and 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Entrances.
Yeah.
And what they do at Sun River, if, let's say, court number 3 and 4 open up, then they move down to the,
They
But
shift.
we don't, yeah, they
But if
do,
we put those gates in, we won't have to do that. I
they
think it's
won't
like
have to do that,
the
because
best
there isn't,
part. Yeah.
it isn't staffed.
So, yeah.
so there'd be 6 gates, not
Yeah.
a
Or
walk
3
through.
gates. Yeah.
3
Yeah.
gates.
Just
So
between
you
them.
walk in and you either
yeah.
go to this
I got
court or
it.
this court.
Yeah.
So I guess that raises another question then.
See, Sun River, they're double.
If for the 6 courts, if we had the rectangular building can be open on that end, so they easily have access to say courts 1 and 2 or however wide that is. Would we need another access point?
Or at
Well,
least a
I
walkway.
think there's gonna be fencing around.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think we want to keep people dry while they're waiting and while they're walking to get onto, the, say, courts down here, like Cheryl, down here. But anyway, that's a lot of things we gotta,
Yeah.
it'd be fun to talk to.
So,
Casey and Brian.
question. We've got the triangle area there,
Yeah.
and we've got the basketball area, and we've got that covered area right by the basketball area. What about a way of utilizing that area, that space, as a waiting area for the other pickleball courts too? If we can't afford to build something,
The basketball,
so
Yeah, one thing we talked about last time, Lance, was bringing
they're
up that
saying
basketball thing. A lot of people use it
A
for
waiting
basketball.
area here.
And so that
under
was
the
our
covered
only
area.
hesitation.
right, but
So-
the, okay.
Well, we still.
Is we don't wanna encroach on the
Probably
covered
wouldn't get
basketball.
too wet,
Yep.
but, you know, it'd be ideal, they would change shoes, because if we get some really nice courts, we don't want street shoes on those 6 courts, ideally.
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 Just
Yeah,
like-
yeah,
It's a public,
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that public. bit.
Public place.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier at rolling hills, for example, a control line. Yeah,
get it,
that public work gets in the way, doesn't it?
except when it
And I
comes time
think
to
that
fund it.
in everything that we do, because we are a rec district, we have to be as inclusive as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And we
Yes.
need to make sure when we present to the board that we are super inclusive. And this is multi-generational. We want those 4 and 5-year-olds out there.
And we will have camp,
And those
pickleball
old
camps
people.
out there. You know,
Fun.
that'd be really
And
fun
the
with
old
kids.
people, did you? Thanks a lot, buddy.
Oh, wow.
But I am,
You said that?
no, Lance did.
Lance?
what?
Lance?
Oh, that's okay,
You're
I've,
knocking on the doorstep here, mister.
Oh, knocking on the doorstep.
yeah, I play with 3 generations when they're out here.
Yeah, I think that's a great call, Linda. Any other comments in general? And yeah, any other comments?
Richard, do you have anything? Any suggestions?
You were so helpful last time.
That was really appreciated last time,
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank
If
you.
anything, see if you, I can copy his name, but like look at Big Ass Fans
Oh yeah.
for AC, like
Yeah.
cooling down the area, just a little bit of breeze will help.
Mhm.
Plus, if you guys track water onto the
Yeah.
the area, those fans will help dry it faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have seen those things in action, and
We have
they're
a pool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is you're gonna have to get them shrouded because you don't want
Yeah.
one of the balls to hit it. I don't know what size balls you guys play with, but
Wiffle ball, like a
okay.
tennis.
So, you know,
Baseball.
it's gonna be
Baseball.
interesting getting a fan shroud for that, especially how big they are. They're like 8 foot, 12 foot long,
wow.
you know. They're like helicopter blades. But they definitely do make a difference, especially like in our pools, they're about 86 degrees in there.
Mhm.
And when you're underneath them, you feel a whole lot better than being in the non-area. And it really does create a,
Yeah.
not convection, but a cooling effect in there.
Yeah, so add that to the list, would
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
And the other thing too is a lockup area for club stuff.
Lockbox.
Look,
Enough
Well, we
space.
have two, but I'm just wondering if there's another option, then, the boxes are great, I have no complaints, but if there is a big ass fan, it would be interesting to see if there is a locker type where the staff, if we used them, the staff could put them out and put them back in.
Yeah.
With lighting, like in Sherwood, it's like a dial where you turn the dial and it's on.
It's a
And it-
timer.
And then it just automatically, the city's got the power to turn it off at a certain time. So that be the same thing that would be out there?
Yo, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people could be in the parks from dawn till dusk, right? And so they would automatically go off at that time. We have lighting out at the ballparks and on one side of the field, and that's manual. And so I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a call at 1 a.m. from people that live around CV or Crater.
Well, when are they gonna turn that on?
Hey, someone forgot. And I'm like, oh God, get in my car or drive out there. And it's like dark out there too. After you
not
close
an
them, I'm like running as fast as my legs will take me out of
It's
there.
not an app for that.
Kind of probably
So,
creepy.
so if it's dawn to dusk in the winter, we're done at 4.
Yeah.
So I would say
I-
it needs to be like
yeah.
8.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
8
I
or
think that
9.
would be logical. If they're gonna put lights in it, that's making the assumption that we'll be able to play later than dusk.
Right.
Would be
So
the
if we had LED lights, which they recommend because of efficiency, et
Yeah.
cetera. When you were talking about those fans, I was thinking, because we want 25-foot ideally ceiling height, but if we have a fan below, we may have to have a higher then, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think on the wish list, a 25-foot clearance to the nearest
Obstacle.
obstacle. Yeah, yeah.
Do you
But-
guys find when you are hitting balls that they do go that high?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
As per the lighting thing, that's really not a problem.
Mhm.
You can get LED lights and flip them upside down. As long as the upper surface, which you can get corrugated metal for the roof, that's white on the bottom side. As long as it's like a bright color like white, it will reflect really well downwards, and it'll be what's what I'm looking for, non-shadowy.
Yeah,
Especially if you lay the lights out in a decent,
pattern.
That'll be important.
But as for the controls and things of that nature, that'd probably be my department. So more than likely it would probably be on motion. So if anybody's in that whole zone, it would just light up the whole area. And then after a certain time, they'd probably just turn off or like flash, let you know, like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm about to shut them off.
Oh, that would be polite.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like yesterday, we played at Pete and Amy's and it's sunny. But,
Yeah.
and it was 8 o'clock in the morning? No, 9. We played at 9. And we had the lights on,
Yeah.
but it's
Sure.
still hard to see.
because- And you're under cover.
Do we feel like we want to meet next month as a group? It would be Monday,
March 4th is what is on here.
March 4th.
I think it would be beneficial because then the budgets will be in.
Okay. Yeah.
So if it sounds like some of you are traveling, which is absolutely fine, but as long as we can
Yeah.
have a quorum, I think it'd be great because then I'll be able to give you guys some more information as
Yeah.
to what was submitted.
Okay.
Well, and
Well,
the,
we get feedback on the meeting too with
right,
Casey.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
we'll have that too, that we'll need to.
It might be a short meeting, but
Okay.
I plan to be here.
I'll be here.
So, is there anything else we need to discuss tonight?
I don't think so. Just put this on. Yeah, I don't think so. Does anyone else have anything?
No.
Well, let's adjourn the meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Second that.
Okay, it was productive.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good. I'll let you know about that meeting with Casey and
Yeah.
Brian, and we can.
What I'm saying is, I